Okay, now let's review the previous lessons. The first one is about function. Okay, um, you have learned about three functions here: linear, rational, and quadratic, and one more is trigonometric function. Okay, in the chapter after this. Okay, so let's start with the three basic function first, which is linear, rational, and quadratic. Okay, the first one is linear function. Linear function whose general formula is fx or y equal mx plus c. M is not 0. M represent gradient or slope. Okay, and the domain for this function is a real number, and the range is also a real number. As you can see, the graph of linear function is a line. It has x-intercept here and y-intercept here. Okay, so this one is quite easy. Linear function. Okay, so here are some formulas that you can use to determine the function. Depends on what are the information given. Okay, the first one, if you are given 2 points randomly that passes through the line or on the line, x1, y1, and x2, y2, you can use this formula or this. Okay, this you already know this formula even in junior high school, I guess. The second one, if you are given its gradient and 1 point passes through the line or lies on the line, x1, y1, so the formula is this one, y minus y1 equals m in parentheses x minus x1, where x1 and y1 is the point on the line and m is the gradient. Okay, the third one is the intercept. If you are given y-intercept and x-intercept, so the function is ax plus by equals ab. A represent the y-intercept, b represent x-intercept, a beat a times b. Okay, this is some formulas to determine the function. Okay, the second one is rational function. Okay, or fractional function, because rational is in the form of a fraction. Okay, the general formula for this kind of function is like this. Okay, this is the most basic one or the most simple one. Fx equal ax plus b divided by cx plus d. Or you can have a quadratic function in the numerator and denominator, or you can have one of this. Okay, so this is the general formula for rational function. Basically, is a function in the form of fraction. Okay, now the domain is a real number where the denominator is not equal to 0. Okay, so this is a rational function. The graph of rational function. Okay, to find the graph or to draw the graph of rational function, there are some key points that you have to find. The first one is the intercept, x and y. The second one is the sign for y value. The third one is the horizontal asymptote, where the horizontal asymptote for this function is y equal a over c. A and C is the coefficient of the x variable in numerator and denominator. The fourth one is determine the vertical asymptote. X equal minus d over c, or you can find the vertical asymptote by making the denominator equals to 0. Okay, so cx plus d equals to 0, and then you get x equal minus d over c. So this is the horizontal asymptote. You just take the coefficient of the x value, and the vertical asymptote is that you make the denominator equal to 0. Okay, this is the asymptote. Okay, and if it is necessary, or if you can also find other points to make your graph smoother. Okay, this is how to find the graph of a rational function, especially for the basic one. Okay, the third one is quadratic function, whose general formula is this: fx equals to y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. And the graph of a quadratic function is like this, a parabola. Okay, and let's look at the term in the parabola. The first one is line of symmetry, or axis of symmetry, some may say. Line of symmetry or axis of symmetry that divides the parabola into equal area. These are the x-intercepts. There are two x-intercepts in this parabola. Well, not a quadratic function not necessarily must have two x-intercepts, because sometimes it has one intercept or no intercepts at all. Okay, this one is y-intercept, and this one is what we call vertex, or extreme point, or one may say maximum point or minimum point. Okay, this is vertex or maximum, minimum point, or extreme point. Okay, and this one line of symmetry. Okay, this is a quadratic function. Okay, there are two kinds of parabola, open upward and open downward. The one that determines whether the parabola is open upward or open downward is the coefficient of x squared. Okay, if a is positive, then the parabola is open upward. If a is negative, then the parabola is open downward. Okay. The line of symmetry, the line that divides the parabola into two equal areas, we denote it xp equals to negative b plus 2a. The extreme point, yp, is b squared minus 4ac, or d, the discriminant, divided by negative 4a. Okay. This extreme point will be minimum if a is positive, and the extreme point will be maximum if a is negative. Okay, and the vertex is the combination of xp and yp. Vertex is in the form of coordinate xp and yp, where xp is equals to negative b over 2a, and yp is d over negative 4a. Okay, this is the formula that we used in quadratic function. Okay, now let's the correlation between discriminant and the coefficient of x squared. Okay, the first one is when discriminant, or b squared minus 4ac, is negative or less than 0. There are two there are two conditions. The first one, the graph of parabol will be above x-axis, or this is what we call definite positive. The second one, the graph of parabola, will be below x-axis or definite negative. Okay, the first one, definite positive, happens when the coefficient of x squared or a is positive. Definite negative happens when a is negative. Okay, so this is definite positive, this is definite negative. The requirement for definite is the discriminant is less than 0 or negative. Okay, when discriminant is equal to 0, the parabola or the function only have one x-intercept. When discriminant is greater than 0, there are two x-intercepts. Okay, so this is the relation between discriminant and the coefficient of x squared. Okay, now let's look at the formula to determine the equation of a parabola based on the information given. The first one, if the vertex is given along with a random point lies on the parabola, y equal a in parentheses x minus xp squared plus yp. xp and yp is the vertex. Okay. The second one, if the x-intercepts are given along with another point lies on the parabola. Y equals a in parentheses x minus x1 in parentheses x minus x2, where x1 and x2 are x-intercept. The third one is if random points are given. These random points are the points lie on the parabola. Okay, so you use the general formula y equal ax squared plus bx plus c. Okay, that's the formula for the quadratic function. So we have learned about the linear function, rational function, and quadratic function. Okay, this is only a review for the one that we have learned actually in the beginning of this semester. So I'm sure that you can understand all of it. Okay, after this I will be giving you some of the review question that you have to do. Okay.